Hi, it's Jen. I'm back. I had a small hiatus, but now I'm back to read chapters from my book for people who don't like to read. This chapter is called Other People's Kids. A life with no kids is a huge missed opportunity of forgotten joy. Don't worry, this isn't an essay on my regret of not having kids. I don't have them. I don't regret it. I mean, I didn't think I would regret it. Then I turned 45, saw the window coming to its final close, and found maybe I did. This temporary lack of fetal mourning wasn't an experience I was at all prepared for. I had never heard other women speak of this middle-aged missed opportunity the way they do menopause or divorce. I went through a serious mourning period over the lost chance of ever experiencing what it is like to birth a human. But just like my 16-year-old girl dreams of looking like Kate Moss, I accepted another of life's physical defeats. I never purposely tried to get seated by a male counterpart, nor ever been one of those women who was against wanting kids. I don't know if that makes sense. I just always left it up to chance and assumed if it was meant to be, it would happen naturally. Being that I have never been one to plan too much for the future, I failed to contemplate that maybe it never would. Then came those mid-40s and a forced, faltering uterus reality. It hurt, but like a long-time failed relationship, I gave it a long, deep pondering and a tearful goodbye, and forced myself to move on. There were certainly enough times I could have gotten pregnant, but didn't. And being that I do subscribe to the thinking that the universe is my ally, and what is meant to be eventually comes into fruition, it appears what is meant to be for me is finding great pleasure in other people's children. That sounds weird, but you know what I mean. And I'm pretty confident, based on countless hours of babysitting for strangers and recent encounters with nieces and nephews, that the children I spend time with benefit just as equally as I do. If childlike fun is a muscle and I don't exercise it, does the imagination part of my brain slowly start to weaken or deteriorate altogether? That is why I get on the water slide with the rest of the kids on family vacations, even if I often feel physically too old, as it can leave my back in a nervous peril. It is a joyful and safe whiz of adrenaline. Sneaking snacks when parents aren't looking, making the kids giggle with a genuine, out-loud, open-mouth laugh is just as gratifying as almost any adult audience I have encountered. These kids are tough critics, and I am not talking about making a drooling toddler giggle. I mean a 10-year-old, attitude-filled veteran on the brink of teenhood, filled with reluctance to my antics, an overly judgmental minor. My brain adapts so easily to its surroundings and daily habits that it can be easy to forget playfulness when my day is spent focused on where my next job will come from, and do I have the confidence in my near future finances to buy the fancy block cheese at Whole Foods rather than the individually wrapped string cheese at the local gas station convenience store? They're both good. I used to love to feast on 99-cent convenience store single-serving cheeses. When I was really feeling frisky, I'd snag a free mini mayonnaise packet, provided for those customers buying full sandwiches, and squeeze it down the length of the cheese stick. I still do that. Then one day my dad told me, don't fill up your stomach the same place you fill up your gas tank. Wise words. Every family needs the childless aunt, that still slightly immature adult who never lost her love of coloring books and crayons, happy to babysit just for the free snacks, and the first to volunteer as escort for all the kids to feed wild toads and roaming chickens on a family vacation in Hawaii. That middle-aged aunt who is always hoarding candy in her purse to have nieces and nephews in, so for just some slight fleeting moments, as those children sparkle with reflective joy in their eyes, that's very dramatic. Even though it is not her own children, but those of her siblings, being so close in bloodline, they still resemble her enough. Why am I talking in the third person? They still resemble me enough that my subconscious feels what it must be like to be loved beyond belief, like only a child that came out of your own womb, completely dependent on you, could possibly love you. So I've heard. I have one biological brother and 2 stepbrothers, although they are almost biological, being that they were my cousins before they became my siblings. But that's a story for another time. This story is about still semi-innocent children, not my interlaced family tree. All 3 of my brothers, 1 by blood and 2 stepbros, are married and have 3 children each, 9 total if you're bad at math. At least twice a year, we all take a family vacation together, 18 people total, all possessing voices similar to or louder than mine coming out of a microphone. We have a loud family. Believe it or not, I am the quietest among them. Needless to say, the rest of the hotel, resort, restaurant guests are quite relieved when our posse exits after a meal. I've always enjoyed babysitting friends' kids, but it is never the same as an actual family member. As I get older, I found that the single, unwed, childless aunt is often deemed weird or kooky. Is that a word? That makes me old to say the word kooky. But rather than lean toward a negative direction, maybe just a simple unfortunate would better suffice our plight. The kookier we act to entertain your children may be a direct reflection of the sadness we feel when we are alone. So be cautious with your judgment of our excitement. Parents sometimes look at me like I'm weird to seek large amounts of time playing with their kids, but they are parents, so they don't know being only an aunt in the same way I don't and most likely won't ever know being the parent. I have sometimes wondered if maybe I'm seeking validation from these kids. Is it because children are by nature more honest and straightforward? They don't usually prefer to hang with someone as old as me, other than their parents. So it is the ultimate form of approval, validation, sense of worth if they insist I sit next to them at the breakfast buffet. I am the aunt they can easily default to as crazy because at that age they think every adult is a parent by nature. At least that's what my same innocently naive understanding when I was their age. Typos. There's some typos in this book. Why is Aunt Jenny alone? And why does she still dress like a lazy teenager? I would try and explain it to them, but instead I just say, you'll figure it out later. For now, just give me some of those gummy bears. I feel like I have to put a small disclaimer in case you're a human with offspring reading this and immediately think, I'll call Jen to hang out with my kid. No, please don't. I'm very picky, and a lot of you have dirty, gross kids. Also, if you aren't my family taking me on a free vacation to Hawaii, you are for sure paying for my playtime. And you better have some legit board games. Which brings me to my next essay. Sorry. I attached the next one with this one in the same chapter, but I'm not going to read that for you now because I feel like I've read enough for now. Anyway, go to Amazon, buy the book for yourself, but still you keep me listening to me read because I know it's joyful.